This episode is brought to you by Google. The Google Cybersecurity Certificate provides the necessary skills to begin a career in cybersecurity. Visit safety.google/cyber workforce today.
ABC Friday.
It just takes one great idea to change your life.
Shark Tank returns for its 15th season.
I didn't know I was going to cry right now.
With new guest sharks, Jason Blum of Blumhouse, Michael Rubin of Fanatics, and Candace Nelson of Sprinkles Cupcakes.
I'm going to make you an offer.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
I've never seen anything like this on Shark Tank.
This season is a 15.
I totally believe in you.
Shark Tank premieres Friday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
This is Optimal Work Daily, episode 1089, How to Figure Out What You Should Do for a Living If You Hate Your Job, Part 2, by Steve Chou of mywifequitherjob.com. And I'm Dan, I'm your host here. Welcome back to Optimal Work Daily, and if you are a regular listener, you probably listened to yesterday's episode, which means you know that today is a Part 2, a continuation from yesterday. So if you have checked out episode 1088, then you're ready to move forward. If you haven't, I would recommend you go back and listen to it so that you're caught up. So let's do it now as we hear part 2 from Steve and optimize your life. How to Figure Out What You Should Do for a Living If You Hate Your Job, Part 2, by Steve Chou of mywifequitherjob.com. Many successful entrepreneurs are created by accident. As part of running my podcast, I've interviewed many entrepreneurs who were successful simply because they put themselves out there with zero intention of making money. Because they were passionate about what they were doing, they didn't consider it work, and money was never the motivation. For example, my Stanford buddy Eric Cheng was passionate about underwater photography, so he decided to throw up wetpixel.com as an outlet for his hobby. And within several years, he established the largest underwater photography community on the net. Money started pouring in. Recently, I interviewed Joe of Just Kidding Films. Joe and his buddy Bart decided to put up goofy videos of themselves on YouTube for kicks. They had no intention of making money. They just loved being goofy on camera. Fast forward to today, and they make millions of dollars putting out videos that they would have produced regardless. Pete Sveen was passionate about doing woodworking projects around his house, so he documented all of his projects on YouTube, and now makes a 6-figure income doing so. Large companies like Ryobi, Quikrete, and Gorilla Glue routinely sponsor his episodes for thousands of dollars. Figuring out your passions. Here's the funny thing about passion. Sometimes you can't figure it out unless you carefully analyze your actions and not your thoughts. When I first started Bumblebee Linens with my wife, this is what I told her in so many words. Quote, I have zero interest in selling handkerchiefs in the long run, and you'll have to do most of the heavy lifting once we get the store off its feet. End quote. But you know what happened? After the first few weeks, I found myself spending all of my free time learning how to design websites for fun. After the website was done, I found myself reading books on marketing and sales in my spare time. After we started getting some sales, I found myself doing research on handkerchiefs, linens, and lace on my own volition. I even learned how to sew. Let me tell you this, engineering, marketing, sales, sewing, and Battenberg lace don't typically go together, but I started loving it all. Shortly afterwards, I created mywifequitherjob.com, an e-commerce course, and a podcast too. The rest is history. Did I intentionally create a blog with the hopes of making 6 figures? No, it just happened on its own. And to be honest, making 6 figures selling handkerchiefs online still sounds ridiculous. And if you told me that I was going to make almost $700K blogging this year, I would have slapped you silly. Why your job sucks. As an Asian male growing up in a tiger household, I know firsthand why most people hate their jobs. It's because most people ignore what they are interested in because they don't believe it's viable. And most people are afraid to try. It's like saying to yourself, man, I love Battenberg lace wedding handkerchiefs, but I better become a lawyer because that is what is going to pay the bills. Then 3 years and $120,000 in debt later, you hate working 100-hour weeks and being a slave to your law firm partners. By the way, I apologize to all the lawyers out there. It's just that out of all of my Asian friends, almost all of them hate being a lawyer. If you hate your job, the real problem is that you are artificially limiting yourself to some preconceived notion about success that your Asian parent or society probably instilled in you. Setting the proper expectations. So the $1 million question is, can you really make a living doing what you love? Maybe yes, maybe no. But there's nothing wrong with working a normal job while pursuing your passion on the side. And if you truly love doing what you're doing, then you shouldn't have any problem sharing it with the world. The key is consistency. Can you maintain a steady pace for an extended period? Can you push through the difficult times when you are bored and have no desire to continue? Here's the thing. There's no such thing as a business or activity that you'll never get stressed over, never get bored over, or never complain about. Even though my e-commerce store, blog, course, and podcast are successful, there are still times when I hate doing it, but I just suck it up and keep on trucking. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled How to Figure Out What You Should Do for a Living If You Hate Your Job by Steve Chou of mywifequitherjob.com. We know many of you listening sell on eBay, so we wanted to let you know about their biggest seller event of the year. eBay Open 2023 is coming up at the end of September. Tune in Wednesday, September 27th through Friday the 29th for 3 days of virtual networking, learning, and announcements from eBay leadership. You can register now for free at ebay.com/open. Join thousands of sellers for insights, trends, and access to training sessions, seller-led sessions, category breakouts, inspiring keynotes, networking opportunities, and much more. Take your eBay game to the next level. eBay also has a few other surprises up their sleeves, including a virtual expo hall, free eBay swag giveaways each day, and many ways to celebrate being a small business owner on eBay. If you sell on eBay or have been thinking of selling on eBay, then you want to go right now and register at ebay.com/open. That's ebay.com/open. Thanks, eBay, for sponsoring the show. Your business was humming. Was. Now, teams are buried in manual work, taking forever to close the books. Consider 3 numbers: 36,000, 25, 1. 36,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, streamlining accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less. 1. Because your business is one of a kind, so you get a customized solution for all of your KPIs in one efficient system with one source of truth. NetSuite is giving you the power of having all your information in one place, helping you to make better, more driven decisions as a business owner. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist, designed to give you consistently excellent performance, absolutely free at netsuite.com/startup. That's netsuite.com/startup to get your own KPI checklist. netsuite.com/startup. And thanks again to Steve. And one thing I didn't mention yesterday is that he's also started his own podcast, as he mentioned in the post. It's called the My Wife Quit Her Job podcast with Steve Chou, and it's all about entrepreneurs who quit their jobs to start successful online businesses. Through a series of personal interviews, Steve uncovers the exact strategies that led to their success. Again, that's called the My Wife Quit Her Job podcast with Steve Chou, and you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. But I think that does it for today. I appreciate you being a subscriber to the show and being here with me each and every day. And I will return tomorrow with another post, and that is where your optimal life awaits.